Hello, I am Vinita, right? Author of the Biochemistry Mind Map book, a 5-minute revision tool created by Medi Study Go to make you remember things very easily. Today, I'm going to start with 4 case scenarios. So let's begin. Case scenario 1. A 55-year-old gentleman came to the hospital for a routine checkup. It was found that his cholesterol levels were very high. So the doctor prescribed for him atorvastatin, which belongs to the statin group of drugs. And within a few weeks, there was a decrease in his cholesterol levels. How did atorvastatin decrease the level of cholesterol? Second case scenario, a 45-year-old gentleman with a history of increased serum uric acid levels came to the hospital with a highly inflamed, painful greater toe. Since he already had a history of increased uric acid levels, the doctor prescribed for him a drug called Allopurinol. And gradually, within a few weeks, his uric acid levels came down and the inflamed toe and the pain subsided. The third case scenario, a farmer was rushed to the emergency room of the hospital because he had consumed some organophosphate compounds while he was using it as an insecticide in his farm. He was salivating profusely and he had pinpoint pupils. Why did consumption of organophosphate compounds bring about profuse salivation and pinpoint pupils? Case scenario 4. A man working in a paint industry showed signs of severe lead poisoning and he had anemia. Why does lead poisoning lead to anemia? The answer to all these 4 questions lies in the high-speed machinery called enzymes in our body. These enzymes are regulated by precision engineered molecules called as inhibitors, which are capable of either regulating activity of the enzyme or putting a brake on the action of the enzyme, that is, bringing the action to a stop. This has been a foundation for modern pharmacology. These inhibitors can stop the multiplication of cancer cells. It can stop the growth of pathogenic microorganisms. It can bring down cholesterol level. It can bring down uric acid level. So today we are going to dive deep into enzyme inhibitors and inhibitions. But before we go to that, let us just see what normally happens when normally enzyme binds to substrate at its active site, and then you get enzyme-substrate complex. Catalysis will occur. That is, either there is breakage of a bond or formation of a bond. You get enzyme product complex, which then dissociates into enzyme plus product. This is what normally happens with the enzyme catalyzed reaction. Now, when enzyme binds to substrate, there are 2 kinetic parameters which we have to remember, and they are important with the inhibitors. So let us see these 2 parameters. With the increase in substrate concentration, there is an increase in the velocity of the reaction proportionately to some extent. directly proportional. Further increase in substrate concentration increases the rate of the reaction, but it is not direct. After some time, however much you increase the substrate concentration, the velocity will not change. It will reach a maximum constant level. This maximum velocity is called as Vmax. So Vmax is one of the kinetic parameters which we have to remember when we do the inhibitor and inhibitions. Half maximal velocity can be attained at a concentration called as Km value. Km value is otherwise called as Michaelis constant. Km value is very important because it indicates the affinity of the enzyme for the substrate. If Km value is decreased, the affinity for the enzyme is increased. If the Km value is increased, the affinity of the enzyme for the substrate is decreased. So there is an inverse relationship between the Km value and the affinity of the enzyme for the substrate. So these two parameters are very important when we learn about inhibitor and inhibitions, Vmax and Km value. We have seen the normal reaction between enzyme and substrate, giving rise to enzyme-substrate complex, enzyme-product complex, and then dissociating into enzyme and products. In presence of inhibitor, the enzyme will bind to the inhibitor to form enzyme inhibitor complex. In enzyme inhibitor complex, no catalysis will occur. Therefore, you will not get any enzyme product complex and no enzyme and product will be released. So, but there are a few types of inhibitions where the enzyme inhibitor complex can reverse back to free enzyme, which is now available to bind to the substrate and carry forward the enzyme catalyzed reactions. So some inhibitions are reversible and some inhibitions are irreversible. So enzymes can be classified based on whether or the inhibitions are classified based on whether they can be reversed or not. Reversible inhibitions are those which can be reversed. There are three different types of reversible inhibitions. You have competitive inhibition, allosteric inhibition, and feedback or end product inhibition. The second type is irreversible inhibition. There are three types of irreversible inhibitions: the non-competitive inhibition, uncompetitive inhibition, and suicide inhibition or lethal synthesis or mechanism-based inactivation. So with this, we finish part 1 of this topic, that is classification of inhibitions. In the second part, we are going to learn about the reversible inhibitors, and in the third part, we are going to learn about the irreversible inhibitors. I look forward to seeing you in part 2 to learn more about the reversible type of inhibitions.